Welcome to Productive Joy with Dr. Christie, where fun meets action.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Productive Joy, the recap. Today, we're recapping a great episode with Kyle McDowell. Kyle is a really established Fortune 10 company CEO, business guru, I guess for lack of a better word, who decided to flip everything on its head and shift from me to we. And the power that has given him, not just professionally, but personally, is huge. So he wrote a book called Begin with We, and it is filled with 10 principles that we should all remember about the power of we. That it isn't just about one person. It doesn't matter how in charge you are. You need a we. You cannot be a me. That's a lot of alliteration there for you. I was so impressed with his willingness to shift, to try something different, to do things in a way that it hadn't been done before. And I shouldn't say that it's never been done before, but for him, it was new. So he had been in charge of lots of companies, and then he got hired. He actually retired, if you will. He quit. And then 10 or 11 days later, he was asked to run a company, and he decided to do it fully and completely differently. And that's how he wrote the 10 principles of we. And what that did for him is it opened his eyes to the fact that as a leader, we cannot do things alone. But what we try to do is be the one that has all the answers. And that's not what this is all about. It's about finding the people who have the answers and empowering them to answer those questions, whatever those questions might be. Perhaps one of my favorite things that he said was actually when I asked him about how do you show up as your best self on your worst days? And he said, I literally think to myself, F my feelings. Now, I am not going to fill in what the F might mean, but ultimately it isn't about what we feel. It's about choosing to show up consistently regardless of how we feel. I think that is a really powerful leadership lesson that brings a little more productive joy. When we recognize that joy is a choice and that this isn't about feeling happy, this is about choosing joy, then guess what? You're going to find a whole lot more of it, and you're not going to feel quite so stuck. You're not stuck. As a matter of fact, you are exactly where you're supposed to be, and you are doing amazing things. But you probably have a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, maybe even a couple months where you're feeling like what you're doing isn't making a difference. Well, maybe that's because you're trying to do it by yourself instead of using the village that you have around you. I am so fortunate to have a beautiful village. I have my family who I hold very dear. I have a husband who supports me fully and completely. I have friends in lots of different sectors that recognize the value of who I am and remind me of my worth. And I have coworkers that I adore and want nothing more than to see succeed. That's rare. I know that, and I am so grateful for it, but those are my we's. I don't do well by myself. Now, I am 100% extrovert. I should probably put that out there. But as 100% extrovert, I recognize the power of we. Do you? Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being by yourself. That is not it at all. What I'm saying is that we go a lot further together. So maybe it's that you're not relying on other people and you're feeling like you have to have all the answers. You don't. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't, because if you're the only one giving any answers, that's a pretty one-sided way to run a business or a family or a life. So I'm going to encourage you today to lean in to the we around you, whether those are personal friends, professional friends, not friends at all, just coworkers that you're not calling friends, all of those people are part of your we. And I need you to lean in because when you are focused on we instead of me, really great things happen. So go find Kyle. Kyle is an amazing human being that is worth following. He has a pretty great brand out there, and figure out who you want to be and then who you want to surround yourself with so that amazing things can happen because you're worth it. Maybe that's why you joined Productive Joy today, to be reminded that you are worthy. You're beyond worthy. You are so exceptional, and I'm glad you're here. So today, I need you to hold on to a nugget of wisdom that you heard, whatever that nugget might be, and then do something with it. because knowing and doing are two different things. I need you to jump that chasm and go from the knowing to the doing. And today, I need you to figure out a way to turn fun into action.